Now that we've covered off the fundamentals of SQL injection attacks, so everything from error-based injection, union-based injection, and then most recently through to blind-based SQL injection, both Boolean and time-based, it's time to move on to some of the more advanced concepts. And as you'll see during this module, there's a whole lot more to SQL injection than what we've seen so far throughout this course, both in terms of some of the semantics and idiosyncrasies of injection, through to some of the more powerful things we can do with it once we can start running arbitrary commands on a target. So let's move on and have a look at what we're going to cover in this module. This module is really going to start to go beyond the fundamentals that we've seen so far throughout this course. And one really important thing we're going to kick off with is understanding how there are different syntax semantics in relational database management systems. The attack that we mount on a system using Microsoft SQL Server is going to be different to one that we use on a system that's using MySQL. And I'll give you a really simple example of that in just a moment, as well as showing you where you can find much more detailed information. We're also going to have a look at how we can discover the access rights of a user, as well as the other databases on the server that this system is using. Because this is going to give us a lot more power, knowing what we can do and what other databases we can do it on. Why just constrain ourselves to the one database? Let's go and expand our horizons. Now, further to that, we're also going to look at how we can create other ways of getting into the database. So SQL injection might be the entry point, but we'll look at creating a login so that you can come back and just jump straight into the database. Let's take the web app out of it. We'll give ourselves a back door into the system via a new login. And finally, we're really going to go beyond just interacting with data. SQL injection is extremely powerful because we can execute things on the target server, not just on the target database, but on the operating system that that database server is running. That's going to give us some really powerful options. So that'll be quite different to the attacks that you've seen so far throughout this course. So with that said, let's move on and start having a look at how the SQL syntax can differ across database implementations.